Dyslexia. What's going on, Secoya Nation? Today's Wellness Wisdom's giving you some perspective on what dyslexia is as far as a brain-body disconnect. If you're not familiar with dyslexia or you don't know anybody who has it, typically it's switching words and numbers, confusion in that sense. It's somewhat considered a visual processing issue. Other people consider it just an organizational issue in the brain. So some of the stuff related to this you might find relevant for yourself or someone you know, and or you might find it intriguing. So as promised, we're trying to be as close to 5:30 as possible, so here we go. When there is a separation conflict early on in life, could be infancy, could be early childhood, where the brain is in its most profound emotional development from birth to 2, there can be a separation conflict. They might have a separation from a mother or father or someone, a primary caregiver, could be a grandparent, I suppose. And that can cause some sort of disorientation, if you will. And that disorientation can then result in the mind having issues with N and M's and D's and B's and F's and V's and stuff like that. So when you think about that, that separation conflict can then lend itself to then confusing family members. So these are two, the separation conflict and then the confusion of family members can contribute to a person's orientation toward letters and organization, stuff like that. When there's a challenge with someone having conflict with regarding to sort of sharing the history of their family, sharing the story of their family, things of that nature, that can also be contributing to or a part of the dyslexic pattern, if you will, that I can't tell it perfectly, I can't tell it adequately, so I get confused about how it's told and then having challenge with telling the story. When we look at the specific confusion between D's and B's, for example, so that can be as far as one theme is like a digestive thing, right? Am I full or am I not, right? Is my belly full or is it not? That can then be sort of pivoted from and look at a woman and their belly when they're pregnant, and that's the kind of the concept of an unexpected pregnancy, if you will. So that's related to the D and the B. If a mother gets unexpectedly pregnant or out of the blue kind of thing, then that can be either causing her to have some dyslexia, or if that theme is triggered in the genealogy and in the hereditary stuff, as far as the patterns, then it can trigger the child and to have that, and that can manifest later on in life. When we're thinking of, I think it was F's and V's, we're talking about like the delivery of the child, the birthing process, if you will. So when there are tools that are used to extract the child, like if, let's say, they get stuck in the canal, they got an arm sticking out, I don't know. That you've maybe heard of forceps, like they clamp on and pull, or they get a vacuum suction and they start pulling. That's commonly associated, as far as what I understand, with the German New Medicine background, is related to the F's and V's and kind of stuff like that. As far as the N's and M's, there was some reference of referring to someone missing a limb. It was a leg. So that's sort of like a memory of something. Like, say maybe someone saw, let's just say, for example, I was a kid and my parents' generation were the Vietnam vets, if you will. I could have seen a vet with a leg missing or something like that, and that could have triggered for me somehow disorientation between my N's and M's and stuff like that. Ultimately, from what I understand after reading, it's a love-hate relationship. So when you think about dyslexia, it's like, do I love him? Do I hate him? Do I know which one it is? Maybe I love him so much, and I feel harmed or dismayed or dismissed, that I might hate him. It just depends. So these are some of the things that can affect a person's mind, and when a person's mind is affected, then their brain gets affected, and as a result, then they can start processing things differently. So just know that these are not designed, or our intention is not to diagnose you with one of these issues. It's just say, here's some broader information that you can consider how it might affect you or someone you love, and that's when they might get confused and switch words up and stuff like that. I've never been dyslexic myself, nor have I spent any significant amount of time with anyone who has been, but I do know people who have mentioned that they feel like they have that issue, especially when reading and things like that and processing. So share that with someone you know, because they will benefit from understanding themselves a little bit better, and they can then maybe stop labeling themselves with it and understand, like, oh, there's actually a trigger behind this, and go from there. Okay? So any comments? Nope? Great. Cool. So that's our wellness wisdom for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and comment below whatever you want to see here, and we'll go from there. All right, guys? Have a great night.